Why should someone care about Nissan? Is it their Z cars? Is it the S-chassis drift legends of the 90s? Or no, maybe it's because of the GT-R GODZILLA. Well, what if Nissan did something even more special? And what if this car actually completed what the GT-R failed to do in its prime? Well, it's a real car, and there's only one of them in existence. This is the Nissan project that lived and died at the hands of the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it's one of the greatest cars ever made. This is the Nissan R390. Funny enough, the R390's tale doesn't start with Le Mans. In fact, it begins with another Nissan, a car you all know well, the Nissan GT-R. You see, Nissan, and more specifically Nismo, the manufacturer's racing division, was always a juggernaut out on track. In the beginning of the 1990s, Nissan's Group C program had found 3 consecutive wins at the 90, 91, and 92 All Japan Sports Prototype Series. And just before finishing that run, Nissan had completed another hat trick in the 89, 90, and 91 seasons at the IMSA GTP Championships. And by then, none other than GODZILLA was beginning to tear up the slightly slower yet violently entertaining Touring Car Championship, the series that also saw the likes of the E30 M3 and the Mercedes-Benz 190e Cosworth in racing clothes. The GT-R's infamously successful motorsport run in the early 90s gave Nissan the confidence to enter an even crazier GT-R into the race of all races, 24 Hours of Le Mans. With their R33 GT-R LM, which, by the way, is the best sounding car in Forza Horizon 4, the Nismo team would set their sights on a Le Mans track they hadn't been to in 4 long years. But they noticed a problem early on, and that problem would be the Europeans. The GT1 class at Le Mans was home to cars like the Ferrari F40 GTE, the McLaren F1 GT-R, and most importantly, the Porsche 911 GT1. Oh, and don't forget the Mercedes-Benz CLK GT-R. All of them outpaced Nissan's GT-R come race time. And another year later, in '96, the Skyline had further proven itself uncompetitive, obsolete for a Nismo win at Le Mans. After the 1996 season, things got even more dire, all thanks to Porsche. Their 911 GT1 race car was fiercely antagonistic, and right in Nissan's way to Le Mans glory. But the 911 GT1 was more than just a fast, highly competitive car. It changed the way GT1 was done from the development side. You see, all manufacturers competing in the series needed to build at least one homologation car for the street. And in a rule-bending but technically legal move, Porsche took it upon themselves to start backwards from what everyone else was doing. They developed a purpose-built race car first, with little thought for a production model, and then toned it down for the necessary road legal requirements after all the racing development had been done. A bold move that actually held up with race officials, but simultaneously made Porsche enemy number 1 at Le Mans the following year. And the team gunning for it the hardest was Nismo. In a closed corridor at Nissan's development center, their top engineers went to work on a brand new car that would not only attempt to dethrone Porsche, but also prove to the world that Mazda and their 787B wasn't the only Japanese company worthy of Le Mans glory. The task was colossal, but Nissan was up for the challenge. Nismo collaborated with Tom Walkinshaw Racing, and together, they aimed to build an extraordinary machine. A car that could compete with the world's best. A car that was reliable, stable, nimble, and above all, fast. It was the Nissan R390. The R390 wasn't just constructed. It was a machine that was meticulously crafted. At its heart, a potent 3.5-liter V8 engine taken straight from Nissan's R89C race car that had previously run in the Class C racing series, now tuned to dish out an impressive 641 horsepower. It replaced the dated iron block inline 6s that had been used in GT-R race cars. It had lightweight alloy heads with 4 valves per cylinder, a magnesium block, and was specifically designed to have an extremely low center of gravity. But the genius of the R390 wasn't just about brute strength. If they'd learned anything from the Mazda 787 project, it's that the body and structure had to work together seamlessly. Nissan hired Ian Callum to design the bodywork of the R390. Callum now gets his reputation from designing some of the most stunning modern cars for Jaguar. And in fact, much of the underpinnings of the R390 came directly from an old Jaguar, the XJR15, a car that had won 2 Le Mans races just a few years prior. Its carbon monocoque was used as the base for the R390, and remained an inspiration for the project's overall goals. Now with a proper foundation, the R390 was set to be a purposeful, functional race car. But the R390 wasn't just a race car. It was a symbol of endurance, of resilience. State-of-the-art telemetry systems relayed crucial data in real time, while a stiff inboard suspension setup absorbed the brutal demands of the racetrack. Huge 14-inch carbon brake rotors pulled speed out of the R390 hard, and laying over them was a set of beautiful BBS racing wheels, measuring 18 up front and 19 out back. The race version had lower ride height, stiffer spring rates, and larger wheels, as well as the full 641 horsepower, whereas the road car had a mere 550. And unlike Porsche's cunning little reversal of the rulebook, Nissan instead completed a full road car prototype before cutting a single piece of it for its race version. Regardless, Nismo's sights were set firmly on the grueling and unforgiving pavement of Le Mans. Welcome to Le Mans 1997. This isn't just a race, it's a 24-hour endurance trial, a test of metal and machinery. It's here that manufacturers across the globe converge, their eyes set on a singular objective: victory. But unfortunately, the 97 race would unveil Nissan's critical mistakes, and they suffered to say the least. A misread rulebook caused the race-going R390 GT1s to fail their initial inspection before the race even started. There was a problem with the amount of airtight luggage space requirements on the three competing Nissans, which meant the team had to redesign space near where some pretty important cooling systems existed. And despite posting the fastest qualifying lap of the weekend, two of the three R390 GT1s got DNFs after overheating their transmissions. The remaining car placed 12th overall, crossing the line with a fried transmission as well. But it was the spirit of endurance that shone through in 1998. The R390 GT1 sprinted to an enviable third-place finish after a refreshed design added more downforce, better aerodynamics, and a particular focus on the rulebook. Guess it really helps to read the rules, huh? But finally, Nissan had done enough to get their name etched in the history books of Le Mans. But to the chagrin of Nismo fans, this would mark the inevitable end of the R390 entirely. After all of Nissan's tumultuous efforts to succeed on track, they knew that the podium at Le Mans was as far as the R390 project would go. As we mentioned, the road car prototype was built first, before 8 following GT1 versions were created for the 2-year Le Mans stint. And this is the only one. The sole example of what this Japanese company saw in themselves. This was all Nissan needed to do to gain their homologation ticket into Le Mans, and after that, they stopped. It is rare that a major manufacturer builds just one of its homologation cars. Even though this series required just the one, even the near-bankrupt Porsche built 20 road-legal 911 GT1 Strassen versions for customers. Rumor has it there was one R390 GT1 example that was converted to be road-legal, but no more have ever seen a public street. This single R390 marks the premature end for this car, but the beginning of a one-of-one legend that represented years of development and hard work for a company that didn't know if it would survive through the 90s, due to financial issues. The R390 was a magnificent symbol of time, when the only constraints were those of vision and audacity. A vehicle that not only encapsulates the thrilling spirit of motorsport, but also reminds us of the untapped potential of human imagination and ingenuity. And without this car taking on such bold engineering challenges, Nissan may have never paved the way for this car to exist when it did. It's the R390 and other race-bred cars like it that set the course for future high-octane success coming out of Nissan. If you liked this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Ideal for more automotive stories just like this one coming along very soon. My name's Trav, this has been Ideal, and I'll see you all in the next one.